Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Whiskey, and welcome back to another episode here on the channel. So, today we're going to be kind of going over some stuff that's going on the server, the new changes, different things like that. The first one, a lot of people have been asking me about the new skill systems that's on the server and the best benefit, your leveling system and stuff like that. Basically, what it is, how to do it efficiently, all that kind of stuff. The other stuff we're going to be going over is what are my thoughts on it. A lot of people in my streams have been commenting and asking that and stuff like that. So I figured I would make a video going over that. And then we'll also touch a little bit into the general thoughts of the season progression, the server as a whole, all that kind of stuff. So first up, the new slash skills that you have in mining. XP got a complete overhaul this season. You saw from 70 to 100 has actually been like completely halved than what it used to be. Like, so used to it was like 38 million XP for level 100. Now it's only like 18 million or something roughly around that. I'm not looking at the number specifically right now, but yeah, so it's essentially a lot easier early game progression just from level 1 to level 100 to get to 100 to have diamond armor and be able to do diamond PvP if that's what you want to do. What gets harder is afterwards the level progression from 1 to 100 for prestiging goes up by 2%, or by 2 times, then 4 times, then 8 times, then 12 times, or 6 times and then 12 times. Something. Again, not looking directly at the notes right now on the server or anything like that. So with that change also came a new way of how much XP is worth itself. So you might, if you have the XP pop-up notification on the screen like I do when I mine, you see that every time you mine a block, the XP pops up and you see that number. And over time, if you're mining the same XP ore, that number is actually going down. So like for lapis, it's like 40 something, then it drops down and you can get like down to like 12 XP per block or something. So the way to combat this is you're mining a set amount of XP at one level, and then when it gets to a certain point, you're dropping down and going to the tier below you. So if you're on redstone, you're mining redstone for a set amount of time, and then dropping down and going and mining lapis for the remainder of that level, to then go back and start it over. If you do your slash skills, the pop-up that you'll see, it will show you how much each ore XP is giving you. Now, this doesn't include fracture, super breaks, or anything like that that might affect that, because like with a maxed out super breaker, you're actually getting double ore procs sometimes, so that doesn't take that into consideration. Fracture breaks, if the fracture breaks the block, you're not getting a full amount of XP on that as well. So something just to keep in mind there. One of the other things with that, though, is that you'll see next to it the amount of XP, and then you'll see a percentage. So on the start of your new level, if you're just based out 0% level 50 or something, you're going to see 200% on that XP. And then as you're mining, it's going to go down. At a certain point, that's when it's going to be less efficient to keep mining that ore and drop down. Now, this kind of is seeming to change as we've kind of progressed, and this is one reason I wanted to wait to do this video until we got to level 70, 75, 80 or something like that, just to be able to have a better understanding of when the best time is to actually go and do that. So right now I am level 80, and the current rate for gold to redstone was roughly around 75% and 25%. Is kind of like the go-to. Some people said 80-20, some people are still saying 70-30. But when we were on redstone and lapis, so like level 60s or something like that, it was more beneficial to mine it to 70% and then go down to lapis and mine that 30%. So it does kind of change a little, and this is another reason of like kind of just pay attention, check your skills, do that kind of stuff to see. Early game levels, it's not really super beneficial. Up until like level 30, really, the amount of time it takes to TP back to the old mine or to your home or something like that just to mine a level, it's not really worth it. Until about level 20, I think it was around level 24, 25, before I actually started like going back to the coal mine, because it was just easier to just get the 1 XP for iron than to TP back to get the 2 XP for gold or coal. They'll only then have to turn around. Now, there are some other ways to combat this to where you're not TPing as much. Some of the things that I do and that the other gang members also do is that when you do your first start, so let's say I'm starting a new level today. So level 80, I'm starting. So level 80, I'm going to mine 75% of that level in gold. When I hit 75%, I'm going to TP back down to redstone and mine the remaining 25. And once I hit that new level and I'm level 81, instead of TPing back to gold right away, I'm actually going to stay at redstone and mine that first 25% at redstone and then TP back. This just cuts down the amount of time that I'm using to TP back and forth between mines, saves my, my momentum, my efficiencies. It's just a better progression there. I'm not wasting as much of my rested XP or XP boosters or pets or anything like that by wasting time teleporting back and forth when I don't need to. So another thing there just to kind of keep in mind as you're doing this. But yeah, I hope that kind of cleared up some of that kind of stuff. I know we've been kind of just breaking it down and trying to do the math on it to see what is the most effective. And it tells you in game even. So you can always do the /skills to look to see what the most efficient rate is for you, if it is technically better to go to redstone or not. It does also have a pop-up that says, hey, your most efficient mine or your most efficient ore is blank ore. That pops up in your chat. So be sure to pay attention there. Also, I do recommend going into your /options and turning on the XP notification that shows you how much XP you get per each break. It is very useful and beneficial because sometimes if you're like me, you're not really paying attention to the little sidebar that's over like on the side of the screen and not paying attention to what percentage you're at. But with that pop-up happening right in the middle of your screen, you kind of know that, oh, I'm only getting this much amount on this XP. I think it's time for me to switch because I kind of forgot to go do that. So just something to keep in mind there. So next, my thoughts on the new XP leveling system. A lot of people have been asking this, and I've kind of given a short answer to it, that yes, I do like it. I think that this is a good change that was made, and it changes it up, and I like it. My long answer is that yes, I like it still, obviously. Early games, not so much. It was kind of rough to kind of even feel that it making a positive impact in the early game grind. So like that level 1 to 30 didn't really feel a difference in it at all. I would kind of think that from coal and iron, it's not really needed, that they could kind of go back and change it, because originally coal was supposed to have dropping rates as well, and supposed to decrease in value and stuff like that, and they ended up changing it because there's no point to it. I could see that also being beneficial for iron, that with the two and having to teleport back and forth so much, iron and coal having diminishing rates is not really beneficial. But overall, yes, I do like it. I think it's a nice change of pace of how the game has been played. It's a nice little change to help you actually level faster and progress faster, because if you are efficient, progressing faster. And the admins have even said that. They've said this is a faster progression rate for, base game, start to like level 1 non-prestige. It is faster progression. And I think we'll even notice that it's faster progression once we get into that prestiging. And like once we are, level 70 on prestige 1, I think we'll notice that the grind doesn't feel as terrible as it could be, because we are getting this 2 times XP at the start of a level, and you can maximize it a little there. I also like that it does change up my rotations. It keeps me bouncing around from different mines, instead of just being stuck like tunnel vision on this one rotation in gold mine or this one rotation in iron or redstone. Like, I'm actually bouncing around a little between gold and redstone currently right now. And it's beneficial to me. I think it just gets me out. It keeps my mind kind of fresh and loose and not just stuck in that tunnel vision to where like anything could happen and I'm not paying attention. This way, I do have to pay attention a little more because I'm having to maximize my XP gains, and that is kind of beneficial to me. Also, I just think that, this is going to be good long run. So I know a lot of people didn't like the update when it came out on the forum post. And to them, I say, give it a chance, put a little time in before you just flat out say, no, this isn't a good update. Like, I hate it, revert it back, kind of stuff. Because it really is not that bad, and it's really not different from previous. You're just going back to an old mine to mine a little bit of ore and then come back. Like it's not bad. It also frees up some rotations in the in the current mines. Like you could be on opposite rotation routes as your other gang members, and yeah, not have to worry about, oh, somebody's in my rotation right now kind of thing. I mean, you still always have to worry about who's in your rotation, but yeah, it kind of, I don't know, it's good, I think. So give it a chance, kind of see how it plays out. Again, my thoughts could change come prestiging might feel like it's terrible with it, but I don't think it's going to. Right now I think it's good. Okay, so the final part of this video that I wanted to make was kind of my general thoughts on level progression and the server as a whole, and some of the things I've noticed with this last season, as well as, like, I mean, it's always been a thing, but I'm gonna talk about it kind of now, kind of thing. So the main thing is the current how do I want to put this, like the current leveling, or not, the current grind pattern, I guess, of the server, or how the server is being tailored towards pay to win. Now I'm not saying that it's a bad thing or that it doesn't need to be done, because yes, there, like in recent seasons or in past seasons, like way back when, I'm sure you remember that like account sharing was a huge deal on servers. The top players and the top gangs had 1 or 2 accounts that they had 3 people rotate on throughout the day, and the account just grinded nonstop. So you had level 100 people day 2, and with the level progression cap system that was set in place, it was a good place, because like it kind of limit them from being able to do that. And then once prestige happens, you know, they're free and they can go and account share all they want and grind up whatever. But for that first initial state, to kind of protect players from being drive-by in the lapis or redstone mines, we had this level cap system to where like they could only get so far in a certain day. And as seasons have progressed, that's kind of stayed the same. And I don't really remember from past seasons like how hard the level cap was day 1 or how hard it was day 2. Even me being a pay-to-win player who buys a CC and has the energy to make level 20, 30 pickaxes, you know, it's still a difficult grind this season. I think between myself, it was a 10-hour grind day 1 to hit level cap. Of what was day 1 level cap? 45? Yeah, something like that. 10-hour grind to hit that as a pay-to-win player. Other pay-to-win players, Glad, Gundle, well, okay, Gundle doesn't count, he didn't hit it, but other pay-to-win players, you know, it was roughly around the same rate. Some more efficient pay-to-win players hit it in about 5 or 6 hours. Or actually, maybe like 4. I think the top person hit it in around 4 hours, but still. 4 hours day 1 grinding, pay-to-win player hits it. 10 hours for me, I hit it. I talked to a couple non-pay-to-win players, some training players that just kind of dropped off and aren't playing anymore, or like Burns, for example. He spent about 12, or I think he said it was about 8 hours, about 8 to 9 hours of grinding on day 1 as a non-pay-to-win player, and only got to level 23. I think the day 1 grind is a little too hard, especially for trainees and non-pay-to-wins, because like it's just one of those things of like, I feel that day 1 essentially should be easier, especially on non-pay-to-win players, because if they get burnt out after 8 hours of grinding and only hitting level 20, I don't see a lot of those players coming back and continuing to play, which is just bad for the map and the server as a whole. I mean, you want to have as much people on the server as possible to, you know, have that competition feeling, and have it be possible for even non-pay-to-win players. Now, these pay-to-win players could level up and, like, you know, buy ranks and all that kind of stuff if they want to, but that's incredibly hard at that low of a level. So I think like my thoughts would be dropping that day 1, day 2 cap a little bit lower to where that initial grind isn't terrible and you don't burn out your players. Like even your pay-to-win players, you don't burn them out on day 1 and allow them to have some fun and enjoyment in the game, and keep them around. Now, I know Preston was online on day one, and we saw him mining. I don't remember exactly where it was or what level he got or anything like that. But pretty well everybody on Cosmic knows when Preston does a series on his Cosmic Preston channel, which has like 400,000 subscribers, so like potentially reaching a lot of new players that could come out and come onto the server. You do see an influx of people logging on and coming on the server, but it's one of those things that like I think about. This is a marketing ploy, or not a marketing ploy, but this is a marketing strategy for him when he posts a video on it. That's the purpose of it. Great, I get it, I love it, it's a great idea to get new people in. The thing I don't really necessarily like about it is that when Preston comes on, he has his XP multiplier because, you know, he's an owner. Why not? Don't care. But he spends about 20 minutes mining and gets this super far progression. And then all these people come in to play the server from watching his video, and they spend like 3 hours in their level 10 or 15 or something because they don't pay to win or they don't know it. And you might think to yourself, well, that's their fault. They should learn how to play the server, or they should pay to win or something like that, which shouldn't really be the thing. I think this goes back to the whole notion that, you know, if we lower the day 1 and day 2 cap and we make it friendlier for non-pay to win players and get them more invested in the game, I think the longevity of a server and a season for a map will be better, because they're going to get interested in the game without getting that burnout feeling from not progressing fast enough. And I think that can only help. And then, you know, maybe they stick around and they play longer. They invest money into the server, into the game, and they buy a rank, they buy a CC, stuff like that. Could always happen, but you don't know that if you burn them out too fast. So I think this kind of just goes around with my thought that, you know, the server is just kind of tailored towards the pay to win players. And yes, it needs to be to an extent so that pay to win players don't progress super far ahead of everybody. But at the same time, I think you need to have the game focused, not focused, but like the progression level focused around the majority of the players. And if the majority of the players are actual pay to win players, cool, keep it that way. But if the majority of the players are the, you know, slightly pay to win, you know, just bought a rank so they have PV space or something like that, but don't buy CC so they don't have the energy to progress, because that's another thing. Like with the level progression, like being able to buy a CC to get, you know, 30 million energy to build picks will progress you a lot faster than having a rank. And that's the thing that like even some non-pay to win players who have ranks because they've grinded in past seasons, they still come in each season at a huge disadvantage because of like the whole like using the energy from the CC to be able to level up a pick, which helps you progress faster. So I don't know. Those are kind of just my thoughts. I'm sure I kind of butchered it in how I executed my words and like said it out loud and all that kind of stuff. But it's honestly what I think. I think that as a whole, like just for the first couple of days, like once you hit like day 3 or something like that, yeah, raise the level cap to like actually to where the competitive players can be competitive and grind that 8-10 hour day if they want to. But the first couple of days I do think should just be easier, because even me, like, so 10 hours first day, 6 hours second day, 4 hours third day, yesterday was 3 hours for level cap. So like as you progress higher up in the daily level cap systems, it's getting shorter anyway. So why not just kind of swap that around and have the shorter days up front and the longer days kind of towards the middle or the end for the progression grind. So I don't know, just my thoughts. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and turn on notifications so you know if I post new videos. Again, also, I stream pretty much a lot every day. I wouldn't say every day on Twitch. Link can be found down in the description of this video. Would love to see you guys there, but take care, and I will see you when I see you. Bye.